The MSCI Emerging Markets Index up nearly 70% over the last year, but down in the last week due to the situation in Dubai. So are emerging markets worth the risk? Securities lawyer Greg Sichenzia is senior partner at Sichenzia, Ross, Friedman, Ferentz, and Laszlo Barini, president of Barini Associates, of course, is still with us. Greg, let me begin with you. Part of this big rally that we've seen all goes into the risk trade and the belief that emerging markets are pulling ahead nicely. You see what the stocks of the emerging markets have done. How ultimately is the situation in Dubai going to affect investing, do you think, into those emerging markets?
I still think emerging markets are where American investors are going to find, most of the opportunities and where the returns are still going to be the greatest.
Yeah, but is it worth the risk?
Sure, because with the big risk comes the big reward. And I think American investors ultimately want the big reward and will burden the risk, in order to receive the larger payback.
Laszlo, high risk, high reward. Is it worth it?
Two things drive emerging markets. One is commodities, and they've had a heck of a run, so you've got to expect them to go on if you want to do that. And secondly is flow of funds. And there's fairly strong correlation between markets. And so if you want to go to emerging markets, you've got to assume the stock market is going to go higher, which I think it is. But I am concerned about the commodity, about oil going even higher, gold, silver, and so forth. So I would be a little less hesitant, a little more hesitant to go in there.
Now, Greg, you are an attorney, and your firm specializes in transactions across borders. I'm just wondering what sorts of areas around the world are you seeing the most activity? Where are you seeing businesses want to get in? And what sorts of activities are you arranging?
Right now, we see China as probably the most active. Also, some other countries in the Pacific Rim are very active, like Vietnam, Cambodia. So we do see, still a tremendous amount of activity, and we don't really see any let-up even after this after the incidents in Dubai.
Are these companies that are U.S.-based and wanting to open overseas offices, or what sorts of transactions are you seeing the most of?
No, these are Chinese-based businesses who are seeking U.S. capital.
Yeah, but Laszlo, isn't this whole thing in Dubai just a sign of further things that could come and really the risks that are there when investing in emerging markets? That Dubai may be the biggest we've heard about in some time, but it may in fact not be the last.
Yeah, because the rules are different, the regulations are different, and the markets are not necessarily as transparent as ours are. And again, for the individual investor who's not on top of this day in, day out, I think that it's probably not the best place to go.
Sorry, Greg, what sector is most active in going overseas?
We see it pretty much in all sectors. Certainly biotech is still very strong overseas. Construction and infrastructure in developing nations is very strong. So we still see the activity, and I don't think American investors are going to let up in their interest in the developing and emerging markets.
Hey, Laszlo, we have to be brief, but where is the next potential hot spot do you see around the world where you'd be extra careful of placing money?
Probably Eastern Europe.
Some of those same sectors or banks from Eastern Europe that we worried about, as we were trying to get through this whole financial crisis, about potential defaults and things like that.
That and political circumstances.
Yeah, so it's that geopolitical risk that still is out there. Laszlo, thanks. Greg, thanks as well.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.